Developers. So who are developers on the Scrum team? What do they do? What is their responsibility? Hi, my name is Christus. Welcome to my channel, Everything Agile, where I try to share a little bit of my knowledge with all Agile practitioners out there and potential Agile practitioners, especially Scrum Masters. My knowledge to help you to become as successful as you can be in this industry. So in my very last video, I went deep into the responsibilities of the product owner. The prior one was about the Scrum Master. So it only makes sense that let's do a deep dive into the responsibilities of the developers. And by developers here, I mean those who actually write the code in a software development environment, and those who actually test the code to make sure the functionality meets its acceptance criteria. So the developers on the Scrum team, number one, they are responsible for creating the plan for the sprint. In other words, they are there to make sure that they have the sprint backlog ready to deliver on. So how does this sprint backlog come about? So during an event, one of the events of Scrum, which is the sprint planning event, the developers and the product owner, they come together in that sprint planning meeting, and the product owner suggests those user stories that she desires to be worked on according to as per the priority. So the developers are now going to make sure that these stories that they are committing to work on, as suggested by the PO, meet the definition of ready. They should be able to, at the bare minimum, have all that it needs. The stories should have all the information necessary that they can actually start implementing. So number one, these stories should have what? An acceptance criteria. It is in the interest of the developers to know exactly how the success of each user story after it's been written or after it's been coded. It is in their interest to know how it's going to be checked so that they can understand if they were successful in delivering on that requirement or not. So each story should have what? The acceptance criteria. It should also be pointed. They must have an estimate as per their capacity. They should be able to commit only to work that they would be able to deliver on. So, and they can only know that depending on their capacity and then depending on how many story points they can actually do within that sprint based on their average velocity. Then, this is especially in my environment, each story must be assigned to an epic. An epic is just a large user story that cannot be completed within a sprint. So, when the stories are broken down into bite sizes to be completed within 1 to 2 days, which is what we prefer in our environment, then it should be linked to the epic such that there's traceability. So especially if you're using a tool like Jira, you should make sure that each user story is actually connected or linked to its epic. Then all the dependencies and risks associated with each of those stories that are to be done within that sprint should also be identified. So that is the developer's responsibility as far as creating the plan for the sprint is concerned. Secondly, they're responsible for instilling quality by adhering to the definition of done. So quality has to be built in, especially with the way the environment is evolving and with the way customers are expecting high quality code coming out of the door at once. They don't want bugs that are coming in time and again. So it is in the interest of the developers to ensure that quality is built in to the code as they are actually coding at that point in time. So for that to happen, they have to adhere to a definition of done, which could be a standard that organization has created that all teams should adhere to if it's a safe environment, or the dev team have the responsibility to come up with a definition of done that is suitable for the product they're working on. So typical aspects of definition of done include the acceptance criteria. So the acceptance criteria must be met, which is the acceptance criteria we talked about at the level of coming up with the plan for the sprint. So this acceptance criteria at the end of writing that code, that acceptance criteria must have been met. Then secondly, that code must have been tested at least in a QA environment. For functional and non-functional tests should be carried out on those codes that have been written. Then at least the PO must accept the story that yes, this story meets our definition of done and it meets our acceptance criteria. So I can visa that this story has been done. Another responsibility of the developer is to adapt a plan daily towards the sprint goal. So on a daily basis, they meet on during the daily stand-ups, and they have conversations on their progress towards the sprint goal. So if there are any changes that are coming, if they're having challenges like impediments, and they are working together, since they are cross-functional and self-managed, they're working together and trying to resolve all those impediments. As new ideas are coming, as the environment is changing, they are getting new information, they're adapting to all those changes and making sure that all new information that is coming in, they're adapting to the sprint goal. Whatever they're doing, even if they are altering the story in one way or the other, it should they should negotiate any alterations with the product owner, and it should go towards the achievement of the sprint goal that was decided upon during sprint planning. Then, lastly, they're accountable for holding each other responsible. When I think about it, it's funny because I've been on teams where the master is responsible for making sure the team is successful, that they deliver a valuable shippable increment at the end. No, the entire team has that accountability, right? To make sure the team is successful. It's not just the Scrum Master. And it's clearly, at least as per the Scrum Guide, the developers, they should hold themselves accountable because they have a reputation to protect. As developers, they have coding standards, and they also have to uphold the profession, right? So they are accountable for each other. So those are the responsibilities of the dev team or of the developers. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.